slaying.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Shabbat Shalom. How y'all doing today? Hope you're blessed and highly favored. So, this show I'm going to do today is a follow-up on TCA's video. And the reason why I'm doing this because it's very, very concerning, and it is very illustrative of what I see today. And one of the things I'm going to say is one thing that I have noticed, and TCA sort of hint at it as well. And this is not for all women, but women are usually easily manipulated by the charismatic guy, right? Not all of y'all, but more than enough, right? And I remember, I'm gonna give this example. I remember my wife had one of her friends over to the house and her husband. And so we ate with them and stuff like that. And, so when they were gone, I told my wife, I said, he's no good. She said, what you mean? I said, he's no good. I say, he's a cheater. He's a manipulator. She like, what? Well, how you know? I say, I know. Spiritual discernment. But also, men know men. You see, that's the other thing. Men know men. So come find out a year or two later, they divorced. Why? Because he cheated. But what's obvious to us may not be obvious to you. Now, I'm going to ask the men in here. Men, give me a 1 if on many occasions you can recognize game and the women didn't. See, men can recognize game. Sometimes women just too trusting. It's their nature. They're nurturers, you know what I'm saying? And they're protectors, but the men are supposed to protect the women. That's sort of how it goes. But men recognize game. And so when we see what's happening today, right? These false prophets, these false teachers, these deceivers, I guarantee you, most of the men recognize game. I'm not saying all of them, but game recognize game. You know how they say it, right? So let's get to the scriptures. Matthew 25, 5-8. For many shall come in my name saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. All right. So we're going to just do verse 5. Many's going to come in the name of Yeshua or Yah or Yahweh or Yahuwah and deceive many. One of the things I used to ask myself, right? But I couldn't really fathom it. I said, what if the Antichrist is a Negro? Because the real Messiah he was a black man. And I said, well, I just don't see it because they hate us so much. I'm like, all these nations hate us. How could he be a Negro? Now, I'm not saying the Antichrist is a Negro. I don't know, but there are many Antichrists, plural. But it would be poetic right? It would be poetic. And this is sort of the thing I'm seeing, and you realize how Satan moves. It would be poetic in the fact that at the time of the awakening, Israel waking up to being the chosen of Yah, for a charismatic Negro to arise and say, I am Yah, or I am Yahweh, or I am Yahuwah, or I'm Yeshua. See, that's sort of poetic in how the devil works, right? He know the awakening gonna happen. He know he can't stop it. But the thing, like I said, I couldn't fathom is, how would the rest of the world follow him? I don't know. Even to this day, I don't know, right? Because they hate Negroes so much. But who knows, right? Who knows? Matthew 24:26-27. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Don't be looking for him on this planet, because when he comes, the true Messiah, all eyes gonna see him. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you a trick on how they manipulate us, men and women, everybody. I'm gonna show you the psychological operations that are used constantly, but you don't see it. And when people warn you and try to warn you about the psychological manipulation or the deception, you all say, you're hating. You're hating. But then I'll ask some guys, some of the brothers, some of the ox, and they be like, yeah, bro, that don't look right. Some of the brothers be like, yeah, that don't sound right to me. But the women be like, ooh, yeah. Ooh, I love him. Ooh, yeah, he's great. He's a great morer. He's a great teacher. But the brothers, they radar be on. Not all of them, because guess what? Some of the deceivers are brothers. But I'm saying the swag is recognizable. Game recognizes game. 1 John 2:18, little children, it is the last time, and as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now are there what? Many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time. So there are many Antichrists. There are many Antichrists. Some of them look like you. I know you don't want to hear it. Some of them say they're Israelites. You didn't know that? I told you the devil is slick. He's slick. Where you least see it coming is where it's going to come. John 5:43, I am come in my Father's name, and ye receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him ye will receive. I used to read this scripture, and that's before I knew we were the people. And I said, well, the Most High, Yeshua, came in his Father's name. We did, our people rejected him. But at the time, I didn't know we were the people. I said, well, must gonna be another white man come up, because at the time I thought it was them other people. I said, he must gonna come, and and they're gonna accept him because he's gonna claim to be Messiah, one of their own people. But now that I know we the people, it's sort of put another spin on it, right? I'm coming in my Father's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. So some of you Negroes gonna be like, ooh, I like that swag. Ooh, I like the multimedia presentation of him. Ooh, I like the peace treaties. Ooh, I like the humanitarian efforts. Ooh, he's good looking. Ooh, look at the women around him. Ooh, he has gold. Ooh, he's in good shape. I'm just saying. I'm not saying all y'all. I'm just saying y'all not as very discerning as the men. And I'm not saying all men are discerning. Don't get it twisted, because there's a lot of men deceived too. Can we talk about the sealed portions? I'm not saying they're not. But sometimes, with men, I think a lot of times men get deceived because of either money or women. That's just my opinion. I think when men get deceived, it's because of money or women. I don't think it's because it's sort of like what happened with Eve, right? Eve was deceived, the man wasn't. I think when men are deceived, it's because of either money or women. That's just my opinion. But let me show you the type of psychological operations and manipulations they use on us, because this is going to allow you to see things a little differently based upon what's been happening like over the years, right? Over the years. Now, there's such a thing called gradualism. Let me make that larger so you can see it. All right. So the psychological operation, because I asked ChatGPT, the psychological operation you're referring to is called gradualism or incrementalism. Gradualism is a strategy that involves introducing ideas or beliefs incrementally over time to acclimate individuals or groups to a specific concept or agenda. It aims to make changes or influence behavior without causing immediate resistance or harm or alarm. So what they do is they gradually implement new ideas, right? Gradually implement new ideas over a long period of time, and part of it is true and part of it is false. And they implement these ideas, and they'll probably say something like, the Bible says ye are gods, right? They'll put something like that over time, and they'll claim to be Israel, and they'll have the quote unquote Star of David. Right now, some people say, well, that ain't the Star of David. It's not really the Star of David. It's really the Star of Remphan. But they're gonna say that ain't the Star of Remphan. Yes, it is. But see, the occult moves in symbolism. This is their language. Symbolism is the language of the occult. Symbolism is the language of Freemasonry. So when you see these things, don't just shoo it and say, "Oh, they just had that because it's just something they use to identify themselves." It has nothing to do with the occult. No, it does. So this approach can be employed in various contexts, including politics, marketing, and social movements. By implementing gradual changes, proponents of gradualism hope to make the transition seem more natural and less disruptive. Over time, individuals may become accustomed to the new idea or belief without realizing the extent of the shift that has taken place. One example of that would be pronouns. Over time, they need rights, right? And then it came from they needing rights to marriage, and then from marriage to transitioning. So gradualism is used all the time, and a lot of you all are being manipulated through gradualism, right? And yes, the church has used gradualism, but Israelites use gradualism as well. Urban apologists use gradualism as well. So it says here, it is important to note that gradualism can be used for both positive and negative purposes, depending upon the intentions and values of those implementing it. The effectiveness and ethical implications of gradualism varies depending on the specific context and nature of the ideas or beliefs being introduced. Now, if you're trying to manipulate people, that ain't good. I don't care if you have a good motive for it. I don't care if you have a good motive for it. Just because you got a good motive don't mean gradualism is good. Now, it's like this. And I was really told this. I will teach this version of Hebrew. I will make up my own language if I have to move people away from that Ashkenazi language. I was told that. So you see people behind the scenes and in front, and you don't get it because you're not privy to it or you don't have spiritual discernment. And they implement the process of gradualism. And if they have to deceive you, even though in their mind it's for a good purpose, it's still a lie. A lie is still a lie. Regardless of the motive, a lie is a lie is a lie. And some of you all are manipulated that way. And, people wouldn't believe me, so I ain't never really talked about it. But y'all don't understand what's happening. So gradualism or incrementalism is one of the ways that they deceive and manipulate you. Now, here's another method of psychological manipulation that is used all the time, and on you all. And I'm going to give you an example. Now, I ain't trying to be mean or nothing. I'm just saying, I'm warning you. You ain't got to listen. Listen closely. Seek the Most High on it. Seek the Holy Spirit. You need to be guided by Yah. I told you that. So here's another psychological process of manipulation that is used on you every day. The psychological process of using word association to manipulate people can involve several principles and techniques. Here's a general overview. Pay close attention. Priming. This is what's happening to you now. Many of you. Priming. Priming refers to the activation of certain thoughts or ideas in a person's mind, often done through exposure to specific stimuli. By exposing individuals to particular words or concepts, manipulators can influence subsequent thoughts, attitudes, and behaviors. So let me give you an example of priming. Some of you all who are swift enough understanding will know where I'm going with this. An example of priming would be, we've always had the mark of the beast. Y'all don't understand. We've always had the mark of the beast. Since we were slaves, we had the mark of the beast. They tattooed us by branding us. And then when we had to go around and leave the towns and stuff, we had to submit our papers to the master or the patrols. So we've always had the mark of the beast, even since our slave times. Now, by analogy or reference, because I'm priming, making this type of statement, that the mark of the beast is okay to take. Why? Because you already have it. The mark of the beast is okay to take because you had the branding since slavery. The mark of the beast is okay to take because you were submitting your papers to the slave patrol. That's priming. Priming you to take the mark of the beast. And I'm going to give you another example of priming. But let's look at the other examples because they add addition to it as well. Anchoring. Anchoring involves presenting a specific reference point or starting point that influences subsequent judgments or decisions. Manipulators can use words associated with extreme or favorable ideas to set an anchor, which can bias people's perceptions and subsequent responses. Thus, I anchored you to take the mark of the beast when it comes. Why? Because when you were slaves, you were taking the mark of the beast when you were branded. And when you submitted your papers, you were taking the mark of the beast. So when the mark of the beast comes, it's no problem because you already have it. So therefore, you can take the mark of the beast. So priming and anchoring going together. All right. Framing. Framing involves presenting information or choices in a particular way to influence how individuals perceive and interpret it. Manipulators can use specific words or phrases to frame situations, emphasizing certain aspects while downplaying others in order to shape people's opinions and decisions. Now, I'm going to give you another example. Okay, let me read this one more time. Framing involves presenting information or choices in a particular way to influence how individuals perceive and interpret them. Manipulators can use specific words or phrases to frame situations, emphasizing certain aspects while downplaying others in order to what? Shape people's opinions and decisions. All right, so let me give you an example of framing. An example of framing would be this. If you have a Gmail account, a YouTube channel, or even Google search engine, you've been using AI for decades. Okay, I'm framing. And I'm anchoring and I'm priming, but so you've been using AI for decades. So if you have a bank card, a driver's license, or even a car, you got the chip. Okay, so now I got word associations. I got priming going on because I'm putting that in your head. I got framing going on because I'm manipulating you by the words and phrases to frame a certain situation. So you have a bank card, a driver's license, even a car, you got the chip. All right, now, in order to continue framing this, the fear of having a chip inserted into your body has been around since early 90s. In other words, since you've been using the bank card, you've been using the driver's license, and you have been having a chip in your car, ain't no big deal to have a chip in your body. Okay? By contrast, I'm showing that the fear that you have of a chip being inserted into your body has been around since the 90s. I am framing your view of this. Framing involves presenting information or choices in a particular way to influence how individuals perceive and interpret them. So the fact that you're using bank cards, the fact that you're using chips in your cars ain't no big deal if you get them in your body. Because, like I said, what did it say? The fear of having a chip inserted into your body has been around since the 90s. So by analogy, since they've been using these things for such a long time, ain't no problem getting a chip in your body because you've been using it anyway. That's the connection. Okay, so now emotional manipulation. Emotional manipulation involves using words or associations to evoke specific emotional responses in individuals by leveraging emotions like fear, guilt, or excitement. Manipulators can influence people's thoughts and actions. An example would be emotional. Tail Ministries is a cult. Manipulate you through emotion. They're teaching flea doctrine, manipulating you through emotions. See, as opposed to saying, well, does the word teach that? Does the scriptures really teach that we're going to have to flee? Did Tail really say we should flee now? Or did they say the Bible teaches that we're going to flee? See, there's a difference. So there's emotional manipulation as well. Semantic manipulation. Semantic manipulation involves playing with the meaning of words or phrases to distort or manipulate communication. This can include using euphemism, ambiguous language, or loaded terms to sway individuals' perceptions or beliefs. You want to know an example of semantic manipulation? Let me read it one more time, the definition. Semantic manipulation involves playing with the meaning of words or phrases to distort or manipulate communication. An example of that would be this. The rapture is rape. I'm not saying that the etymology of the word may not have come from that, but in the scriptures, what they're referring to, it doesn't, and you can't apply it that way. Okay? So that would be an example of semantic manipulation. These techniques are used on you every day, and some of y'all aren't swift enough to see it. And when people try to warn you, you think we're hating. Y'all think we're causing division, and we're not. I'm telling you, we're living in the most dangerous time in the history of this planet. I've never seen anything like it in my life. I'm serious. I told y'all, I've never seen such deception in the history of this world. I've only been on this world for 56 years, but I'm just saying, is crazy. And yes, harpazo doesn't mean rape. But anyway, so let's look at some of TCA's video, because this stuff blows my mind, and people follow these type of people, right? And so all of these techniques are used by anybody who wants to deceive. That's why I told you, everything I present, line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, you can go validate it yourself. I give you the references for the historical, I give you the scriptures for the scriptures, right? I don't just take a verse out of context. I keep it in context. I read the entire thing. But deceivers take one verse and build a doctrine, like they've done in the Christian church all these years. Take one verse and build a doctrine.
The sheer pandemonium, for want of a better word, financial pandemonium, social pandemonium. There's so much unrest. Saying all of that to say this though, I hope everyone's doing well and they're doing good and they have a sound mind. Yeah, no craziness, no silliness, no none of that. Just analytical, critical thinkers. Yeah, by the Most High's grace. Now, if you lived during the time of Yahweh ben Yahweh, would you have been deceived? I mean, he pretty much ticked all the boxes. You know, he had hair like wool. His complexion was copper colored and he had eyes that were very majestic and blue, green. Would you be deceived by that? Possibly not, because we're a lot more adept today. But it seems as if this same spirit is still about, and it's been about for ages and forever and a day. There's always a counterfeit. There's always truth. There's always a counterfeit. And now we have another individual hailing out of America. I believe it's North or South Carolina, calling himself King Yahweh or God or Holy Spirit and all this kind of stuff. So it's interesting. Is this guy the
So yes, this is TCA.
Awaited second coming, as they would say? Yeah, is this the one we've been waiting for, as they would say? Obviously, I'm asking that rhetorically with applied sarcasm, which I'll say in case people missed the sarcasm. But yeah, this is another one then. So if you haven't already, did you guys watch the video on cults? And I guarantee you probably would have learned some things, because when we look at this one in particular, we're going back into history. We're going back into the archives. We're going to see how all these things connected. Did you see any connections with the presentation yesterday? Did you see any overlapping, interlinking with that presentation? We're going to, like I say, we're going to go all the way back, man. We're going into all these things.
All right, let me move forward a little bit on here. All right, let's go there. Hold on. Let me refresh. Let's see. Where's the... There it is.
The future, Most High willing. So yeah, let's look at this video.
The king is here! The king is here! The king is here!
Not your way, Yahweh.
I'm like, who is this guy like you? I need to know who I'm about to be dealing with.
Real talk as well, yeah. If anybody knows where people are getting all these Power Ranger costumes from, please, can you hit me up? Because it would be interesting just to wear it to my bed and that, because man ain't got no pajamas like that. Usually just boxers. But it'd be very interesting just to have a suit like that. And then people are going to be thinking as well, why is he mocking? Listen, some of the people that mocked, you know, don't get too emotional and sensitive right now. But if you do know who makes these little suits and that with the little cape, I'll be interested to know. You know what I'm saying? It looks pretty.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
Not your way, but Yahweh.
Like, I'm like, who is this guy? Like, you know a lot of people and you're doing your thing and you got assistants calling me. And
Hold up. Why is the woman sounding so sensual? Why is the woman sounding so sensual though? She's like, who is this guy? Like, come on. And this is the same thing the man them we're dealing with. Some of the sisters get hook, line, and sinkered over that Boys to Men voice, that Luther Vandross voice, that voice. You see what I'm saying? What? Anyway, I'm just gonna stop. But I'm gonna show you the scriptures to substantiate what man is saying. Because right now, there's so much fakery going on in the name of Yah, Yahuwah, Ahaya, whatever name you want to reference here. There's a lot of bogus stuff going on. And I ain't scared to call a spade a spade. I wasn't scared to call a spade in Christianity when I was an Adventist, when I was into Pentecostalism, and I'm not afraid to call a spade now. Oh, don't talk about that. Nah, forget that, bro. But anyway, let me calm down and not get too stirred up. Why is the woman talking so sensually, though? Seducing spirits, the Bible calls these things. Anyway, let's.
I need to know who I'm about to be dealing with. It's not a bad thing. It's pretty exciting.
We love you, appreciate you, oh King Yahweh. Oh King Yahweh, we love you. For what Yahweh has done for us to know you, King.
King Yahweh, thank you.
He's even got the Indians coming through and saying, King Yahweh, love you. And then the Africans were saying, King Yahweh, love you. And I want you to, please, when we start doing some more presentations, I want you to make a mental something in your brain, yeah? Just think of the buzzword Asiatic. Asiatic, yeah? I'm just going to be straight as well right now. If I told you that the Nation of Islam was actually founded by Indians from Asia, I know you've probably seen the video, but literally, the whole Nation of Islam concept goes back to a man from India. And I'll add even more salt to the meat. It goes back to a guy whose ancestry goes back to Genghis Khan. Man deep.
So one thing I want you to think about is the whole relationship between the One West camps and this whole idea with Yahweh being Yahweh and this guy, King of Yahweh, you know, the whole extravagant outfits, right? The Power Rangers outfits. We need to understand that what we have here, just my opinion now, is gradualism. And we also have a form of what? Priming. Now, why do I say we have gradualism in a form of priming? What may be happening here is the getting a person used to the extravagant, because, you know, lifestyles of the rich and famous and all that stuff. You can see the way they shot this, right? Same thing as, you know, all of these sitcoms and shows that Black folks are on today. But it gets you used to following a man, right? A religious leader who's what? Just like in the Christian churches, wealthy, right? Good looking, right? And so we have people being drawn, right, gradually to a leader that looks like them. Now, if you have a leader that looks like you and he's rich and he's good looking and, you know, he's drawing you by your sensual lusts, right? Then, assuming this guy is not the real Antichrist, right? These little Antichrists will what? Prime you to worship the real Antichrist. One thing I've noticed about a lot of these camps and a lot of these other organizations is the use of symbolism. right? And they were either Freemasons or former Freemasons, right? Sort of like the Nation of Islam, right? It don't make sense that, you know, the Nation of Islam's leader, you know, is a Freemason. I mean, he's against these white folks, right? But Freemasonry is from Britain, right? It don't make sense. Some of the stuff don't make sense. But this relationship between the people and these fake, let's say, idols, is going to draw you to the big idol, the devil. Yep, Satan, the Antichrist, the son of perdition, the man of sin.
Who's Genghis Khan? I'll let you figure that out. But bro, when I started connecting these dots, I was like, wow, this is a madness. But anyway, back to this.
I love King Yahweh. I love King Yahweh. Thank you.
Oh my days, what was that? That's embarrassing.
I love King Yahweh. I love King Yahweh.
What is going on though? Are you seeing that it's not just an American thing now? This false prophet guy originated in America, North Carolina, South Carolina, somewhere. Now he's got his foot on Africa. Now he's got his foot in India. And everyone's singing praises to this guy called King Yahweh. It's no different from the camps. It's no different from a lot of these things that people are walking in, you know, somebody else's authority. Now, in the group, what was the one thing that's going to take place that Messiah warned people about? He said people are going to do stuff in his name, right? People are going to come and say they are this and say they are that. And many people of all different pigmentations have said that they are. And amassed a cult following of people that have done stupid things, i.e. mass fasting, not knowing that the byproduct of their death was so that their organs could be harvested. So much silly.
All right, so I'm gonna move forward just so you can see what else is going on around here. All right, let's move. Okay.
The house, all that kind of stuff. Nah, bro. Anyway, Hebrew Hefner, you're mad. That's notice there's an Asiatic. Yo, I'm telling you as well, there's something suspect going on. Look out for the video that's going to expose one fake female prophetess, witch, or whatever. I mean, I don't know what to call these people no more, you know. All I know is, like, listen, guys, I just encourage people, yeah. If I had like my final word for people in general, yeah. Study history. Look at this thing afresh. Look at everything afresh. That's all I would say. Yeah, that's all I would say. The times of using black, white, yellow, and red to identify people and all that kind of stuff is bogus. Bogus, like a Ford Focus. But
just like I told you all, the worst enemy are those who look like us. And the ones who claim to be Israel, they're the worst.
Focus. Back to this. Man.
I really love your powerful messages, like when you said if good people stop fighting good people, the world would change overnight.
All right, 1 second. Who's this guy again? Who's this celebrity guy? Imagine this celebrity guy. You're going to see a lot of celebrities endorsing this guy, which to me implies that he must be from the Most High, because the Most High would allow celebrities to endorse him, I believe. I feel. I'm led to believe. Sarcasm definitely applied. But yeah, who's this celebrity guy? He's endorsing the prophet guy, born in Carolina in America, doing all these. I think he was crowned as well in Ghana, like a king or something as well. But yeah, Who's this guy again? I forgot his name. But yeah, it's amazing to see all these prophets come to help. And they always seem to target American Negroes for some reason. There's a reason behind that too, which I understand now. Because people have been trying to classify themselves as black. What the heck is black? You go to Africa. When you go to Africa, yeah, one thing people ask you is where you're from. If you say, oh, I'm black, you can't even use that. Because everyone...
When good people stop fighting good people.
And this guy is straight boule. What's his name? Roland Martin. All these big so-called black channels that are for like black empowerment, and it's a lot of the times I've had to mature. A lot of the times it's just white. Bruv, they're just there for a reason. I tell you, I kid you not, bro. When we go to the history of religion, man, we're gonna lick the door down. You'll see for yourself. Won't be TCA. You'll see fact. You'll see. Anyway, let's continue.
The world will change overnight. That's what we all have to do. And so it is important for us to understand economics is what drives any community, including ours.
Hi, King Yahweh. This is Marla Gibbs. We met a few years ago at the White Party in Los Angeles, and I'm so happy to see that you're still working on the Unified Positive Community.
Wow, Ernice, you got a family member who follows King Yahweh. Wow. Sorry, were you referring to King?
So this guy, King Yahweh, nobody ever really heard of him. I never heard of him before, but they got all of these people supporting him and promoting him, these entertainers, these actresses, and all this stuff, right? So apparently he's somebody that the powers that be, the establishment, is pushing forward. For who? The black community. You know, just as they try to push within the black community, the whole idea for guys to be in dresses and all that type of stuff. Same thing, right? They're trying to give you your Christ, your Messiah, right? Not the true Messiah, a false Messiah. That's why I say these are dangerous times. I mean, what's happening with these people is ridiculous. I mean, like, something's bad is happening. And it's coming to a point, a crescendo. It's coming to a point. Something's about to happen on this planet. I'm telling you.
Yahweh or somebody else. That'll be interesting. Probably be nice to have a conversation with that person if they allow it. Yeah, Roland Martin, or this guy here, he's been a boule for ages. I think when he first met George Bush, the president, he hugged him and started crying. But that photo has been washed from the internet. I remember I had that photo before when I did my boule video ages ago. I'm sure I had that photo. He was just hugging the president and crying, you know. Man, listen, and people will look at him and think, oh, he's black. But what if he's half Arab? How about that? There's some people that you're thinking of certain things, but they might be half Arab. They might be half Asiatic or Oriental. There's a lot of that going. Man, it's so deep. Don't be deceived by pigment and all that kind of stuff, because it don't really mean nothing.
Having connection problems. Can y'all hear me? Give me a 1 if y'all can hear me.
But this whole black thing, and under the term of the pseudo term black, saying you're black and brown and brown and black, that rhetoric only works in the American space. When you leave America, I've lived in America, I live in Europe, I've spent time in Africa, I've spent time in South America. Certain rhetoric doesn't apply across the board, you know. In the American space, no disrespect, I believe it's like a communist mentality. Most Americans don't leave America sometimes, and if they do, they go to Europe. They don't really go to the continent. Now that mentality
So the question is, who's my brother and my sister? Is it the ones who look like us, or is it the ones who do the will of the Father? It's the ones who do the will of the Father. Because they might be bloodline, but they sold out to the devil, right? A lot of these people, whether they know it or not. It's really disappointing.
Reality is changing a little bit, yeah. But overall, saying you're black and brown and all these kind of it doesn't work, you know. When you go to Africa and you say, okay, I'm black, they look at you like, okay, what the hell is that? And they say, okay, where you come from though? America. All right, but where's your people from? They're American. But yeah, where did you come from before then? I don't even know. I'm just black. But what's black though? Because that Indian man over there says he's black too.
Like I've known these people forever and I have never met any one of them. That's the energy I like to be around. So I'm going to enjoy this house.
All right, yeah, I found the thing that I was looking for. This whole color thing, I tell you, it's so insidious when you realize where it goes back to and the basis on which it was built and what it was designed for. And this is why I say the American mentality is basically carbon copy of communism, because the people over there are communists that rule America and have given them the schooling system, education system, legal system. Every kind of system over there goes back to anyway. But it says here the transmission of color terminology of race for race from antiquity to early anthropology, 17th century. Europe took place via literature. Specific.
So one thing we got to pay attention to is how the establishment is promoting this particular guy.
I'm just having this, man. It's embarrassing. This whole religion thing to me is just embarrassing. And by religion, I mean all these little devoted cults that are crazy as hell. Look at all of this rubbish. But I'm a Christian. I'm a brown cup of. I don't listen.
King Yahweh says happiness is a gift. You can't give it if you don't have it. Peace and blessings to you. Peace.
All right, sorry. Who's this celebrity guy again?
So that's Roseanne's Barr ex-husband, right? Who is this guy? Apparently somebody is behind him, right? So let's move on, right? The Imperial Majesty King Yahweh. The Imperial Majesty King Yahweh, the Holy Ghost, blasphemy, right? Yahweh, the Holy Ghost, King Yahweh, Yahweh. That's what he calls himself, right? A devil, right? The Imperial Majesty King Yahweh, internationally known as King Yahweh, oh my goodness, or abbreviated King Yahweh, first of his name, was born in Halifax County, North Carolina on September 19, 1970. Born in Babylon. Imperial Majesty King Yahweh was duly crowned and ordained by Yahweh as the Imperial King. His Majesty was officially ceremonially installed as Chief King in 2015, April 2015, and his kingship hails out of territories, including the regions of Mankissum traditional area and the Gona, Kayanko Central Region, Ghana. He is the first person in the Ghanaian history to be installed in two different villages during the same lifetime. His stool or throne, names in each community respectively, are Nana Idu Ababio, chief of the Manakasim traditional area. So this guy got enthroned as a chief in Ghana. Now, isn't it interesting? Do you find it interesting that, we had the year of return with Ghana, and all of the Israelites, whether or not they knew they were Israelites or not, went to Ghana, and everybody started going to Ghana. Now, I never did like Ghana because I never liked Akufo-Addo. I never trusted him, right? His spirit was never right with me. Akufo-Addo is a Freemason, and he's part of the Commonwealth of Britain. I never liked the guy. So it seems to me, once again, right, they're setting up a Messiah type figure for you all, right? And, but here's the thing, like I said, the whole idea of gradualism and the whole idea of priming and all of that and framing is also being used, right? That's what I was saying, like when it talks about, the camps and what the camps believe and you know how they don't believe that Yeshua was divine, but that Yeshua was the son of Joseph. You know, is that type of stuff. And then, you know, the whole thing when they got the quote unquote Star of David or the Star Remphan, you know, and they want to say it's something else. No, this is Freemasonry. When you look at the symbolism, you know, the hidden symbology, you're going to see, you know, that they're tied to the United Nations. They're tied to the whole belief system of the New World Order, intergovernmental order. So there's very few people on Yah's side. I'm serious. There's very few people on Yah's side. The Bible says, and I'm starting to see very few people going to be saved. I told you, some people going to take the mark. I told you that. I told you, some people going to take the mark. Now, whether he's the Antichrist, I don't know. I personally don't see how, you know, the other nations are going to worship a Negro, right? I don't see that. So he may be just an Antichrist, one of many, right? Priming you to worship the one that's to come, right? So let's see. Yeah. All right. So King Yahweh continues to conduct global outreach amid crisis. Essentially, the meeting was a humanitarian collaboration between King Yahweh and Monk Kwang Chong, where they discussed global affairs and mutual issues of mutual interest. See, this is an international movement of a guy who claims to be an Israelite, but really he's claiming to be God. He is an Antichrist. Now, is he the Antichrist? That's the question. Man, they really messing with my internet today. What the heck? All right, I'm gonna leave it at that. So y'all saw some of that in the other one. All right, so world-renowned actress pays tribute to King Yahweh and the Kingdom of Yahweh. Actress Lisa Ray McCoy pays tribute to King Yahweh and the Kingdom of Yahweh during her recent visit to Agona, Kwanyako, Central Region, Ghana. Lisa Ray, a new queen mother in the royal lands, addressed onlookers as she expressed her project plans for the near future. So you got him being enthroned a king, and you got her being enthroned a queen. What the heck is going on here? Right? I'll come back to that. Actress Lisa Ray McCoy received at the Royal Palace in Ghana, Kwanyako, Ghana. Flashback, September 19, just prior to the global pandemic, Lisa Ray McCoy was crowned in the USA as a new queen mother of Ghana, Kwanyako, Ghana, in association with King Yahweh and the Kingdom of Yahweh. As royalty, she is commissioned to inspire and support the youth and work in community and development projects. I told you, you got to be careful. There's something going on here. They're promoting these people because, you know, entertainers really guide and direct America, right? And guide and direct, quote unquote, black people, right? Black people love to follow entertainers. They love to follow entertainers.
I'd like to give my regards and thanks from coming from my first visit from Kunyaku village. My first time on the soil there, it's because of the Kingdom of Yahweh. Thank you for facilitating. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for the honor to crown me Queen Mother of Youth, that I take this role very seriously and I humbly accept. And without you, King Yahweh, it would not happen. So I appreciate you. I thank you, and looking forward to doing big things.
So the kingdom of Yahweh, the kingdom of Yahweh. What the heck? No, it's Yeshua's kingdom, which is an Israelite kingdom. This guy's a usurper. But see, they're using influencers to what? Influence people. They're using influencers to influence people. Now, let me show y'all this, because it's sad. It's sad. It really is. I'm like, do people not have a brain anymore? What are we dealing with today? Okay, the Holy Bible, the way it looked before the enemy changed it, right? That's what he said. All right, I ain't gonna read all that. The God of gods. That's what he calling himself. The God of gods. The keys to self-realization. This is New Age terminology. Yahweh is consciousness. This is New Age terminology. Look at the symbolism here. The reed. Remember I did the show on that, talking about this is the symbol of Rome. Look at this symbol over here. It's the sun with a triangle in it with Hebrew. This is a New Age Christ. Is he the Antichrist? Is he the son of perdition? I don't know. He is an Antichrist. Like I say, he has the United Nations wreath and the Roman wreath as part of his symbolism. I told you they talk in symbols. I mean, what's going on with these people here? They follow anybody. I told you.
So you just got crowned queen. Like we've talked about you. Okay, so you just got crowned queen. Like we've talked about you so much in the past few weeks.
I've heard, I've seen a little bit, and you all over the place.
I know. Well, I don't know how you keep popping up in the middle of stories.
I'm hot.
Okay, so one of the stories we talked about is so now you went from First Lady of the Turks and the Caicos, and now you're the Queen of Ghana?
Queen Mother of Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's really big for what I'm doing now, using my platform for the better me, for creating peace and awareness for education over there. I want to do a small school over there. So I'm doing a lot of educating and stuff now.
Yeah. Good for you.
So with this, hold on. Let me close this thing out. All right. So with the whole thing of Lisa Ray. Lisa Ray is just an actress, hired to play a role. Now she's hired to play the role of a queen with a fake king with some stupid mess. Now look at this. Once again, make sure you take note of the symbolism. Meet King Yahweh, the king who crowned American actress Lisa Ray McCoy, Queen Mother of Ghana. Look at this symbol here. Look at this medallion this guy has, right? The pyramid, the pyramid with the all-seeing eye in the middle. Can we say Illuminati? The pyramid with the all-seeing eye. But they look like you. See, these are influencers. Now, what are they trying to influence you to do? To worship another Messiah. Now, it's interesting, like I said before, that Ghana is involved in this. All tied to the year return, which is tied at the same time to the awakening. Now, right when we awake, Around the time we were awakening, here come the year of return. I think, when did this start? 2018, I think it was. So everybody goes to Ghana, go to the year of return. Now, you had the actors and the actresses and the famous people going to Ghana. They weren't going to Tanzania and all these other places. They were going to Ghana. See, what happens is when the awakening comes and you walk out that door into the light, the enemy got a trap for you right when you step out into the light. Soon as you wake, oh, we Israel, we the Israelites, we the Hebrew, the Bible talks about us. There's a trap waiting for you. Sealed portions, Mormonism, campism, King Yahwehism. I told y'all it's dangerous. When I told y'all, I told y'all the deception is on another level. Now, we know that Ghana has enthroned this guy twice and enthroned technically Lisa Ray. Now, apparently, anybody with who's famous or who has some money gets enthroned, become a king, become a chief, or whatever. And now, Mr. and Mrs. Black couple themselves who promote the pronouns, they got enthroned in Ghana too. No wonder Ghana is pushing certain things, right? No wonder. I told you, Ghana is not to be trusted. Ghana has never been on my list. Never been on my list. Because I never liked the Kufu-Adu. Ghana's way too secular for me. And you can sense Freemasonry all over him. Now, y'all remember this, Dwayne and Gabrielle. Really slow today. I wonder why. Can y'all hear me? If you can, give me one.
Where's the MC?
So now he's being enthroned.
Now, I know you might be wondering.
All right, that's enough of this video stuff because I don't know what's going on with it. My connection must be slow. I don't know what's happening. But the thing is, to me, the two most ungodly entertainers in Hollywood, other than P. Diddy and Jay-Z, probably, promoting the alternative lifestyle is being crowned chief and queen. It's really embarrassing. And to me, it tarnishes the awakening. It tarnishes the awakening. Now, I don't know why I'm having all these internet problems today. Maybe because I'm showing all this foolishness, right? But I'm telling you what's happening is, and it's all on the local level as well, is gradualism, priming, framing, and all of these psychological manipulations to get you to worship the Antichrist. That's what's happening. So King Yahweh net worth is 326 million and climbing. Where is this money coming from? Sources say King Yahweh has been named as a potential partner in up and coming multi-million-dollar deal. Sources say King Yahweh has been tapped to partner with a few other high-profile global heads of state and real estate moguls in a multi-million-dollar revitalization project. Based on reliable sources, his net worth is estimated at approximately 326 million and climbing, with vast amounts including offshore accounts, corporate stock, global real estate investments, and ownership via various shell companies throughout the Bahamas. With over 700 acres across 3 islands and stretching as far as Switzerland, King Yahweh is known to have a global network, including relationships with various prime ministers, sitting presidents, and other moguls, although it remains unclear how this particular collaboration was decided. Who is this guy? Where did he come from? Who's promoting him? I told you that this whole thing, these last days ain't nothing nice. It's dangerous. It's not just dangerous in terms of your physical life. It is dangerous in terms of your spiritual life. Why? Because they're using gradualism on you. They're using priming and anchoring and framing and emotional manipulation and semantic manipulation. There was one I forgot to mention, which was association manipulation. Manipulators can exploit existing associations between words and concepts in people's minds to influence their attitudes or behaviors by strategically pairing certain words or ideas with positive or negative associations. They can shape individuals' perceptions and reactions. That's another one, again, can be where they say Teal Ministries is a cult. Manipulators can exploit existing associations between words and concepts in people's minds to influence their attitudes and behavior. So now you don't listen to Teal no more. You unsubscribe from Teal because Teal tells you the truth, but he calls you Teal cult. When we were looking at the whole thing of priming, and remember, priming refers to the activation of certain thoughts or ideas in a person's mind, often done through exposure to specific stimuli. By exposing individuals to particular words or concepts, manipulators can influence subsequent thoughts, attitudes, and behaviors. Like I said, the AI example. AI is not new, nor is teachings inserting chips in people. So by saying AI is not new, nor is teachings inserting chips in people, it's interesting how many are warning about AI, but have YouTube channels, Gmail accounts, and bank cards with chips. Google is at the top using AI. By inference, it's okay to be chipped because it's really not that important because you've been using chips when you use YouTube. You've been using AI when you were using YouTube. You've been using AI when you were using Gmail. You've been using chips since you've been using bank cards. So why are you all upset that somebody might stick a chip in you? See, you're being manipulated and you don't know it. Where's your spiritual discernment? Go and read, do your research about gradualism as a method of psychological manipulation. Go do your research about priming and anchoring and framing and emotional manipulation, semantic manipulation and association manipulation, because all of these things are being used on you and being used on all of us as a whole. And this is how they're going to get you to worship the Antichrist. This is how they're going to make you say, okay, well, since we've been using the mark since slavery, and they branded our ancestors and we had to give papers to the massa, well, hey, why not get the chip? Why not get the tattoo? Because we've been doing it since slavery. Y'all better be careful. See, one thing I like about TCA gonna do his investigation. He gonna put that information together and warn you. He's gonna warn you what's happening. And it is to your negative, let's say, to ignore it. It's to your detriment, that's the word. It's to your detriment to ignore the warnings. There's not many people out here warning you that there are deceivers in your midst. There are agents in your midst, and you think we're lying. You think we got a personal vendetta. No. Look at it for yourselves compared to the word. Is the rapture really meaning rape in the Bible? Does harpazo really mean rape? No. I keep telling y'all, these are the most dangerous times I have ever seen. It is the worst I have ever seen. To me, it is even worse than the threat of nuclear war. This deception is worse than the threat of nuclear war. Why? Because you know our people, and I know our people, and our people like to follow entertainers. Our people like to follow people with money. Our people like to follow people with the bling bling. Our people like to follow the people that they put on media, which is why we have girls dressing the way they do today. Why do you think girls, every time you put on Facebook, all you see is TNA? All you see is TNA now with these young girls when you go on Facebook. Why? Because they've been influenced by media. There's a huge psychological operation going on globally. There's a huge psychological operation going on globally. And the Most High said, be not deceived. The Most High also said, few will enter the kingdom, because wide is the path that leads to destruction, and narrow is the way that leads to eternal life, and few that be that find it. Don't hate us when we warn you. Don't hate us when we tell you that that guy is no good. He's a cheater. He's a manipulator. He's more than likely an adulterer. Guys can recognize guys. Guys recognize game. Game recognize game. Where do you think most of the guys came from? They weren't always saved. They had game. And when they get born again, and when they obey Torah and they follow Yeshua, guess what? Now they're walking in the spirit. But guess what? They still recognize game. They still recognize game. Oh, that guy ain't no good. You don't want to talk to him. Oh, but he's so handsome. He's so nice. Oh, look at the eyes, and he got money too. I'm gonna ignore Teo. I'm gonna ignore Yakoba. He's so handsome. No, he's dangerous. Open your eyes. I don't think we have long. You know why I don't think we have long? And that's sort of relative, because I can't really put a date on anything, but you know why I think we don't have long? Because this deception is off the chain. and the persecution is off the chain, and what they're trying to do is off the chain. I don't see how we survive much longer. I don't see how we can survive here within another year, 2, 3, 4, 10, 20. I just don't see it. That's just my opinion. I can have an opinion, right? Why do you think I'm doing all these videos back to back? Not because I want to. That's how bad it is. I told y'all I'm going to come out when I got to come out. That's how bad it is. It is bad. It is dangerous. Keep listening to people who want to deceive you and manipulate you through gradualism and priming you and framing you. Keep listening. And you're going to end up in hell with them people. And when the word says one thing and they tell you another thing and you believe him because he didn't slightly manipulated the word, yeah, had God said. See, that's what Satan did. Satan primed Eve. He didn't change the meaning. Yeah, had God said. See, this is what I've been telling y'all been happening within this community for a long time. This is why I don't fellowship with a lot of ministries and a lot of people. This is why my circle is very, very small. You can't trust most people. You got to wait until you start seeing some fruit, and sometimes it takes years. See, sometimes that's why I won't say nothing. I'll wait and abide my time. And if you treat me with respect, I'll treat you with respect. But that don't mean I trust you. I'll work with you till I start seeing some bad fruit. It's just a matter of time. All I got to do is just sit around, wait around just long enough, and you're going to show your hand. And once I see that bad fruit, I'm done with you. I'm done with you. You can't come back. I'll forgive you, but we can't hang. You ain't going to be my boy. It never was anyway. But see, I let them show their fruit. The Bible says you're going to know them by their fruit. There's very few places and ministries and everything that has good fruit. They either have an agenda to build a ministry for themselves, to get followers for themselves, to get money for themselves. It ain't about restoring the kingdom. It ain't about helping our people to become free of the colonizer. It ain't about making us first and not last. No, it's about making them first. Watch the fruit. Sometimes I'll be like, you know what? I'm not going to say nothing. I ain't going to warn people no more because they don't listen. They don't listen. But you know what? There's always that one. There's always that one. See, you're going to have people who are going to hate me because I warn you, right? People going to hate me because I say, you know what? King Yahweh here, he's a devil. He's a snake. He's an antichrist. Oh, you can't talk about him that way. He's doing so much good. He's building hospitals and he's investing in orphanages and helping people build their farms. And no, he's a devil. Because guess what? He ain't doing nothing any different than what the United Nations does, which shows you that he has a United Nations global agenda. And he's working with the same people who work with the United Nations. But here's the funny thing. He's not the only one. See, this is the thing. And the deceivers and the antichrist, they are at different levels. Everybody not walking around with $326 million. They still antichrist. They still false prophets. They're just not blinging like him, but they still antichrist. They still false prophets. They're still part of the establishment. They're still using psychological manipulation tactics on you. I know most people ain't going to even understand what I was saying today, but that's all good. For the ones who do, may the Most High bless you. Shabbat shalom, family. Love y'all with the love of the Messiah. Peace and blessings, Israel. Your captivity is ending. If you want to support this ministry, you can by becoming a patron. You can also give Cash App. And also, please support the Dry Bones Project.